So here is Munson in our first prelim test together. I was pretty happy with how straight he went down the center line. And with him, the biggest thing I've been working on has been kind of his steadiness in the bridle. He tends to have a little bit of, like, he'll wag his head a little right to left. So it's really trying to keep him steady on the outside rein, getting him to connect. I've been working on square halts. I didn't quite get it there, but almost. Getting him to push through when you ask for the halt. You want to still keep your leg, but then your seat kind of tells him the halt, and then you're able to get a square halt. So he gave me a very nice circle. Again, you can see a little bit of the unsteadiness in the bridle, but that's getting better and better. Now I work for my leg yield. Now I have to work a little bit better of getting him a little more parallel. He kind of ran a little bit with the shoulder, but all in all, it was an okay leg yield. Now across the diagonal for our lengthened trot, which he actually has a pretty nice suspended trot, and again, he's still working on developing that. So we're in the stages, and here you see I lose the hind end a little bit. It's almost like a diagonal instead of a leg yield, so I need to have more outside rein and inside leg to kind of help the engagement of the hind end, so he's not just running sideways. And now working on our stretch circle. I could have had a little bit more stretch. I've been working on getting him again to connect to the bit and kind of take it a little bit. But he stretched, so I was happy with it. And now going for our walk across the diagonal. He's a fairly relaxed horse, so you can ride him, nice and forward. It's just he's got that little connection issues that I've been working on. He's given me a very nice walk, very good in swinging. Now I'm going to pick him up, prepare him for our transition at A. And again, in this test, they've changed it a little bit for prelim. You can now do it rising or sitting. So I chose to do rising for part of the test to kind of help him free his back a little bit. And then we go into our medium canter on the circle. Could have had a little bit more canter for the medium to show a bigger difference, but I liked how he stayed connected and he felt pretty good. And now we go for a half 10-meter circle to counter canter to the trot. He's very obedient, and I'm really working on trying to stay accurate. So we canter at F. And again, the medium on the 20-meter circle. Now I'm going to work at collecting him back before B to show that difference. He was very good in that transition there. Now the 10 meters, half 10-meter circle back. Have to keep him cantering through so he keeps the cadence of the canter. And then trot. And I decided to go ahead and sit the rest of the trot since I was coming to the halt to help us prepare. Working on staying straight. And halt. Overall, it was a really good, solid test. We scored a 30.5, and so that put us in third place. And now moving on to the show jump. Show jump has been a little bit of a nemesis for Munson, so I've kind of been working on riding him a little bit differently, staying really soft and kind of trying to teach him to use his neck and his body a little bit more. And now I'm coming to this diagonal line, which is in the 7. And he takes that first vertical, and then he kind of flattens out a little bit and takes that oxer. So I'm going to have to work a little bit more on his shape and my position a little bit to help him keep his balance so he can be a little bit more careful. He tends to kind of just get a little careless and stay a little bit on the front end. He jumped that Swedish really well. Coming to the big oxer, jumped that well. So now coming to this vertical, trying to make sure I have him in the right balance. But again, I think I can help him a little bit more if I was to have my shoulders back over my hips, more like how I ride Johnny and Sharpie. Now coming to the second to last oxer. Sometimes he panics if he sees a deep spot, and so you saw he got a little disconnected. So now coming to this last fence, I had to make a choice between the flyer or the deep spot, and I chose the flyer and I got the rail. But all in all, I was happy with how he's progressing. So moving on to cross country, he is a fairly brave horse, but again, he's had some confidence issues at the water. So I had been schooling a fair bit, and he felt pretty good. I thought like I was pretty prepared to take him out. And I'm just trying to let him kind of go in his rhythm and stay out of his way, and let him just kind of have his feet coming to the jumps. And he's doing fairly well, staying in a nice rhythm. But then we came to the double banks, which you couldn't really see, and we ended up having a stop there, which that caused a fair amount of problems for a lot of horses. But I was a little taken aback by it because he has done a fair amount of prelims. So he's competed, he's done like 9 clean prelims. So that kind of put a marker in my head that I might have some problems at the upcoming water, since he was already a little squirrely about the down banks. So he pings over the chicaner fine. Here I have to make him listen a little bit because I felt like he was too heavy on the front end. Coming to the water, he jumps this fine, and then he, going through the water, kind of already backs off a little bit. But I've schooled him at the trot to drop in, and he just says no. So I let him sniff it. I try to make him walk in the water behind it. And now I'm just going to pick up the trot and come right back around. I probably could have taken a little bit more time, but I get another stop. So I try to encourage a little bit more, and then I give him a tap tap. And then I come right back around, and it just wasn't happening today. So that ended up in our elimination. And sometimes you have to go, okay, back to the drawing board. So I just gave him a pat, finished off walking back through the water, so he had a positive experience with that. So the rest of the week, I actually spent schooling him in the water, and I went and I rode him bareback and actually lunged him from the ground to really help his confidence, so he had more self-control for himself. Unfortunately, I didn't get any video of that, but this is me schooling at Barnstaple, and we practiced just going cold turkey to the water like we would at a horse show after I've done all my groundwork, and it made a big improvement. So he's feeling very confident, dropped right into the water, was really happy. So the next time I take him out, I'll drop him down a level to help really build up his confidence and make sure we're on the right track.